Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 74. Tonight, we have some pretty disturbing information to share with you guys. It's actually disgusting to me. When it's all taken in context, this new information, added on with what we already know about Glen Dubin and Eva Dubin and their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and his relationship with their kids and how it was supposedly so close. He was their godfather, all this stuff coming out. And then the article dropping today talking about how Jeffrey Epstein wanted to make their daughter Selena his wife. Now think about that, folks. They had a super close relationship. Jeffrey Epstein was over there all the time. Jeffrey Epstein was a huge part of this kid's life. You know, she's a young girl at this time, 12 years old. Now she's 24. But, back then when Jeffrey Epstein was always around, she was just a young girl. And this is after he had been convicted of what he was convicted of. After everybody knew what he was. These parents still brought him around. These parents still thought it was okay to bring him around their daughter. Don't you think that's a little effed up, folks? I mean, I'm not a parent, so I guess I really can't judge anyone's parenting skills. But, I mean, I'm pretty protective of even my dogs. Never mind if I had a kid, there'd be no way. The Google searches I would be doing on people if I had children, forget about it. I'd spend every dollar I needed to spend to find out who my children were associating with, whoever their coaches were, teachers, etc., etc. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in right now, right? And then you have these people, Glen Dubin and Eva Anderson Dubin, who have all the money in the whole world. But yet, they would let their daughter associate with this man. Why? Why would they keep this man in their life? Was this something that maybe they were into as well? Was this like a thought that maybe the parents were entertaining? Who knows, right? Who knows what these people are thinking? I obviously I have no evidence that says, what the parents were or weren't thinking, but it's very disturbing that Jeffrey Epstein would even bring up marrying this young girl. She was 12 years old, for God's sakes. And then you say to yourself, oh, well, we know exactly what he was anyway, so it really isn't that shocking. But what it is, it's disturbing. It's also very, very, very disgusting. So before we jump into that article, I'm going to read you a letter that Eva Dubin sent to the judge in the Jeffrey Epstein case, in the original case, looking for leniency for her friend and ex-lover, Jeffrey Epstein. We all know that he was going to get that leniency anyway, but what it does now is it sheds light on how Eva Dubin truly felt about Jeffrey Epstein. They can issue all the denials they want. They can try and hide their relationships with Jeffrey Epstein all that they want, but everything is a matter of public record at this point. We all know the truth, all right? Now, all that's left to do is piece everything together and put the puzzle together. All the puzzle pieces are on the table. We got a couple of corners built, right? Now we're working towards building the rest of the puzzle. And drops like this, episodes like this, and articles that come out like this, these are huge clues. These are huge, huge clues for us to put another piece together on this puzzle and, get closer and closer to finishing the whole thing. Because this is just crazy, this sort of insight. When you look back and you listen to what I'm about to read you, and then you listen to the article that I'm going to read you that just came out today, if I don't even know. I mean, I'm just blown away by it. It's so disturbing to me. It's so chilling. These poor kids. Why would their parents, the people who are supposed to protect them, put them around Jeffrey Epstein? Now, I could understand these girls that were from broken homes. Look, I get it. They're being lured in with promises of money, promises of material wealth, promises of status. Look, that's a big deal. That's a big bargaining chip for people that don't have anything. If you come from a place where you've always had everything you've wanted, then you don't understand. But when you come from a place where you have nothing and somebody dangles something in front of you, it's a real hard sell for you not to take. And that's what happened with these young girls who got sucked into this whole entire blackmail scheme. But this situation, it's so chilling because the parents willingly had this man around their children, even though they knew what he was, and made him the godfather of their children even. So we're going to read the letter that was sent by Eva Anderson to the judge to try and get leniency for Jeffrey Epstein. And then directly after that, we'll read the article that just came out tonight so you have the full complete picture. And not just the article that they wrote, but the actual complete idea of how Eva Anderson, what was going on in her own mind, in her own words, not some journalist's idea of what it was or even my idea of what it was. These are her exact feelings that she put down, pen to paper, and sent to the judge. So you will be able to decide what you think. There'll be no gray area for you. And then if you tell me in emails, I'd love to get your emails on this, and you tell me how chilling this is when it's all put into context and how just gross and disgusting and disturbing it is. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. All right, now a little bit of background before we do the letter, right? Jeffrey has had 2 long-term intimate relationships with women during his adulthood. In about 1981, Jeffrey met Eva Anderson, now Anderson Dubin, the then 20, who was a Swedish model and former Miss Sweden. They developed a long and still enduring friendship. The relationship endured for 11 years as an intimate one. So think about that. 11 years she was with Jeffrey Epstein. 11 years. She knows exactly who he is. She knows exactly what his proclivities are. You can't hide that for 11 years. Not in a serious relationship, you can't. During that time, Jeffrey encouraged Eva to fulfill her dream of becoming a doctor. He encouraged her and set about to pay her expenses at medical school in Sweden. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice of him? She reported that he frequently flew over to see her and ensure that she was keeping up with her studies. Oh, I'm sure that's exactly what he was coming over for. I'm sure he was coming over to hit the books with you there, Eva. That's all that you guys were doing, right? When she continued her medical studies in California, Jeffrey was there to cheer her on and pay her expenses. She successfully completed medical school and presently works in New York City as a well-regarded internist. When it became clear, however, that the demands of Jeffrey's life could not include staying in one place and having a family, Eva and he realized that they had no future as a family unit. They parted amicably. Eva eventually married and has 3 children. This, notwithstanding, they have continued to speak with each other nearly every day, as does her oldest daughter, Selena. Having missed only a dozen times or so in the 26 years they have known each other, she described their current relationship as follows. Today, Jeffrey is a very close and important friend to my family. Now remember, this is Eva Anderson Dubin speaking now. Today, Jeffrey is a very close and important friend to my family. He is the godfather of my 3 children. Okay? The godfather of her 3 children, folks. And close friend of my husband as well. Whenever Jeffrey is in New York, he will always come over in the evening and visit with us, help the children with their math homework, and conduct science Q&A at the dinner table. He will always remember the children's birthdays. Yeah, I bet he does. I bet he shows up with candy and concert tickets too, right? Come sit on Uncle Jeff's lap. I mean, are you people for real right now? Ay, ay, ay. And he is constantly on the lookout for educational games for the kids. For 4 years ago, when I had a cancer scare, Jeffrey was extremely supportive in visiting me every day in the hospital. I could not ask for a better friend or godfather to my children. You couldn't, huh? Really? So because you were sick and he came and visited you, he's just this great guy? Talk about having blinders on. Talking about being fooled. And again, I run the parallel with Keith Raniere. This guy's like a guru, right? Every girl that comes into his orbit falls in love with them, and they're willing to go, they'll die on any mountain for them. They're willing to procure young children for them. And in Eva Anderson Dubin's case, she's even willing to have her own children around him. Jeffrey has enjoyed an especially close relationship with Selena. For all of you in the back, listen up. Jeffrey has enjoyed an especially close relationship with Selena, who is 12. Remember, this is all going to be relevant in the next article, folks, okay? Selena wrote glowingly of their weekly science lesson. When Uncle Jeff, as she calls him, oh my God, really? Could it be any more ironic? Uncle Jeff is what her mom has her calling this guy. Takes time from his personal and business schedule to go over to her apartment and discuss science and mathematics lessons she is learning at school. They might talk about such things, for example, as why the sky is blue or how fast light travels. After their lesson is over, they then spend some time at the piano where Uncle Jeff helps her work on her singing voice, even though, as she knows, Uncle Jeff does not have any real expertise in this area. The closeness of their relationship is perhaps best suggested, however, by an incident Selena related in her letter. Folks, I gotta pause for a second here. This is disturbing to me. Sorry, it's very disturbing to me. Uncle Jeff, the whole Uncle Jeff and the boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right. One of the nicest things anyone has ever done for me. Now remember, this is Selena writing, the 12-year-old girl, okay, who Jeffrey has a very special relationship with. Uncle Jeffrey. One of the nicest things anyone has ever done for me happened about 2 years ago when I was at a ballroom dancing class. It was father-daughter dance day, and unfortunately my father was stuck in a business meeting. I didn't know what I would have to do because you had to bring your father to the dance class. I got to the class alone, but then soon enough, a quick phone call to Uncle Jeff didn't leave me standing there, alone for more than 10 minutes. Uncle Jeff substituted for my father that night, and the way he rushed to the class felt exactly like having my father there. If that doesn't send chills up your spine, folks, I do not know what does. That is absolutely positively disturbing. All right? Absolutely disturbing. I mean, I cannot even begin to understand how these people could ever let this guy near their kids. I just do not understand how that could ever happen, folks. It's just mind-boggling to me. I just don't understand it. All right, so now that you have the context of the letter, you see how obviously close Jeffrey Epstein was to her, right? We see how close Epstein was to Selena, the 12-year-old. He was the godfather of the children, and him and Eva were obviously very close, and they were probably still intimately connected, right? I mean, it sure looks that way. I don't have any evidence that proves that, but there's something that's really stinky here, folks. This whole entire Glen Dubin situation is really stinky. You know, Virginia Roberts named him as one of the people that she was trafficked to as well. So we know that these people are not very good people, right? All right, so the article that came out tonight. This is being reported by the Daily Beast, but it was originally in the Business Insider, but it's behind a paywall over there, and I know not everybody has access to those paywalls, so I'm going to read it, the summary version here from the Daily Beast. That way, everybody can come and click on the article, and they can check it out for themselves. All right, so to the article. Headline, Jeffrey Epstein wanted to marry teenage daughter of ex-girlfriend. Report. And if you didn't have the context for that, you'd say to yourself, what the hell? Ex-girlfriend? What? That's weird. But in context of what we just read, you start to paint a much more sinister picture right away, right? All right, let's see what the article says. Convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein reportedly considered marrying Selena Dubin, the young daughter of his ex-girlfriend and his business partner, while Selena was still a teen, according to Business Insider. Okay, so remember, they had a very special relationship, right? Uncle Jeffy. And he wants to marry her, and this is the man they're letting around their daughter? Dubin is the daughter of former Miss Sweden Eva Anderson Dubin, who dated Epstein for 11 years, and hedge fund manager Glen Dubin. Oh, hedge fund manager Glen Dubin. It's always the same routine, right? All of these guys are ultra loaded, big shots on Wall Street. And they're all engaged in some sort of sinister bullshit. Seems like every last one of them. With the money comes absolute, utter disregard for humankind, I guess. As recently as 2014, the now-deceased financier told associates he would marry Selena if he ever decided to wed. Yo, hold on. Listen to this, folks. He's saying he's going to marry the daughter, who was 19 at the time, who he was Uncle Jeffy to if he ever decided to wed. Why would he be saying that? Do you think he was just saying that in a vacuum, or do you think he might have discussed this with the family? And like I said, folks, there's a lot of parallels with Nexium, Keith Raniere, and the Allison Mack, the whole cult angle. It's something nobody else is talking about. Jeffrey Epstein had a cult of women around him. And I'm not talking about the ones that he was abusing. I'm talking about the cult of women around him, the procurers, the Ghislaine Maxwells of the world, folks. And he wanted to marry Selena. If you had a friend and his daughter called you Uncle Johnny and you were a big part of this kid's life, would you ever be thinking about marrying her? Would you ever think about anything besides just making sure that she had a good life and she had a birthday present every birthday and that, she had some place to stay if she was in your city or whatever with you and your family? That's what you would be thinking about, not marrying her. And furthermore, her parents. These two morons. Really? Really? Child Protective Services should have came and took your kids. While Business Insider noted there was no evidence of a physical relationship between Epstein and Selena, thank God, the accused sex trafficker wanted Selena to inherit his fortune, and marriage would have allowed him to avoid inheritance taxes. Boy, he really loved this Selena. They really had a pretty close relationship, huh? The Dubins have a lot to answer for, folks. Why is nobody asking them about this? Epstein reportedly put Selena as a beneficiary of a trust in 2014, but removed her in 2015. It's unknown how much was in the trust at the time, but a source told the website it was worth $50 million in 2019. Selena is now 24 years old, a medical student at Harvard, a medical student who graduated from Harvard in 2001. Epstein, who Anderson Dubin once described as Selena's godfather, not once described, definitely described. What does that even mean? Not described, he is their godfather. Also reportedly told friends that he was at the hospital during Selena's birth and that the girl who called him Uncle Jeff was the only one who never failed him. What the does that mean? Never failed him? How can a little kid fail you? Oh, there's a lot stinking here, folks. This is disgusting. This is a whole pile of disgusting nonsense, and we need to get to the bottom of it. I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point. This is absolutely mind-numbing. The Dubins denied knowing about the trust, and a family spokesperson said Eva and Selena Dubin accepted less than a handful of invitations to gatherings that included Epstein. Yeah, right. How about the letter? How about Uncle Jeffy coming over? How about Uncle Jeffy coming to the recital? The Dubins are horrified by Jeffrey Epstein's despicable conduct. Had they been aware of it, they would have cut off all ties instantly, the spokesperson said. Meanwhile, Glen Dubin has been accused in court documents of having sex with one of Epstein's victims, Virginia Roberts, and the couple allegedly employed as a nanny an underage girl whom Epstein had solicited for sex on his private island. The Dubins have denied all allegations against them. Well, of course they have. That's all they do. Deny, 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 deny. Shut up already with your denials. Nobody cares. Nobody believes you. You people are sick. This is probably the most disturbing thing I've read so far when you put it into context as far as, people that were enabling Epstein and the people around him. It's one thing to put yourself in Epstein's orbit, but to willingly put your children in his orbit and to have them call him Uncle Jeffy and to have him talk about marrying your underage children. What in the world is wrong with these parents, folks? And what in the world is wrong with the media for not digging for answers? It's all right. We're here to pick up the slack. We're going to keep on it. This story is not going away. We're going to dig deeper. We're going to try and find more answers about this story. And it's going to crack. Look, I'm telling you right now, they can only run for so long. The public interest in this case is so sky high that these people really they don't understand the force that's rising up against them at this point. I wasn't kidding earlier when I said this is the American Spring. You've heard of the Arab Spring, but in a different way. This is America, the American people raising up and waking up and saying enough is enough. We will no longer be treated as subjects. We are not subjects, folks. We are citizens. And in this republic, what we say goes, not what they say. So if we all stand strong and we keep pushing for answers and we keep the pressure on, eventually we're going to get where we're going. There's a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of people, oh, we're never going to see justice in this case. And if history is correct, then they're probably, they have a very good reason for having that outlook. But nobody ever thought, the French aristocracy never thought that they were going to get overthrown, right? Well, it happened. A lot of things happened that people never thought would happen. And just Prince Andrew being pressured the way he is and forced into disgrace, that's a step in the right direction, folks. And we are moving in the right direction. Every day there is movement in this case, and we get closer and closer to these sick bastards facing the justice they deserve. Because this year, 2020, is the year the predators turn into the prey. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. If you'd like to support the show, you can click the GoFundMe link in the description box. I will be back tomorrow with a morning update, and you know how it goes, the usual. Probably do another evolution, and of course the daily drop. Because like I said, with the evolution articles, we literally could do one a day. There's so many things that we missed before this podcast started. And from the emails I've received, you guys want them. So I'm going to keep pumping them out. Until we run out of things to talk about, we are going to keep things cracking. We are going to keep things lit, and we're going to keep things popping on this podcast. Always going to have new content. We're always going to have new things cracking off. So I'll talk to everybody tomorrow, and I hope you all have a great evening.